I'm reading for you the introduction of my chapter, Body in the Loop, Navigating Academic Midlife. In my early 40s, my relationship to being an academic changed in two ways. First, I chose to give up a full-time job as a senior lecturer for a part-time research post, while also starting a new career as a life coach and moving to a country in which I had never lived before. Second, once set up in my new life, I was plagued by a strange form of incapacity. My self-chosen projects, both old and new, were a struggle to carry forward, and I felt lacking in energy, courage, confidence, and clear thinking. Eventually, I had to give up on many of my original plans before I could find a new way forward. People often ask me about the first part of the story. Why did you want to become a coach? How did you go about it? What was it like to step away from full-time academia? I love talking about these things, yet in this chapter, I mostly explore the disconcerting, disorienting, darker second side of my transition process. When the changes we make or undergo in our work are profound, or when they coincide with our passage into a different stage of life, there usually is such a dark side. In the book Transitions, William Bridges says that all transitions involve navigating the difficult process of letting go of an old situation, of suffering the confusing nowhere of in-betweenness, and of launching forth again in a new situation. Having arrived on the other side of my midlife transition, I now have a better appreciation of this than ever before. I also have a better appreciation of something else that Bridges points out, namely that there is a difference between outward changes and the inner reorientation and self-redefinition that you have to go through in order to incorporate any of those outer changes into your life. When I had left my old job, got my new contract, completed my coach certification training, and moved to the new place, I thought that I was done and ready to live my new life. This turned out not to be so. I had a whole inner process ahead of me still. This experience, the way the agentic first part of my story was followed by a period of inner turmoil, taught me how, to a considerable extent, we are not in control over our journeys of transition. Even if, at a critical juncture, you proactively decide what you intend to do with your life, there is still also the matter of what it intends to do with you, as Parker Palmer pointed out. We cannot fully calculate the losses we will suffer, or the gains we will make from a change, not even one we willingly instigate. Nor do we have the coordinates of where we will end up, because in a very real sense, we cannot know who will end up there. That is to say, we don't know in what ways we will no longer be the person we were at the start of the journey. Looking back with the question of what someone might need to help navigate such an experience, I want to say two things. The first is an understanding of life in which times of feeling proverbially lost in the woods are considered integral to how we grow and mature. Bridges' book, drawing from the psychology of adult development, the anthropology of passage rites in traditional societies, and the study of myths and epic stories, is one that offers such an understanding. If we can allow that a transition involves an ending and a period of in-betweenness before there can be a new beginning, this helps us feel less alone when we struggle in ways we did not expect. Instead of then equating feeling bad with something being wrong, we can remind ourselves that loss and disorientation have a place and purpose in this process, and that eventually we will find ourselves again. At the same time, a framework like Bridges only comes to life if we become close observers of our own experiences. I have found that it is not our thoughts that tell us where we are in the process of transition, so much as our physical and emotional states. The second thing that I will therefore nominate as helpful is an enduring curiosity about these states. Our bodies communicate in a variety of ways, including through our changing moods and energy levels. They can stop us in our tracks, but ultimately work to protect our vitality. My story of navigating the second part of my midlife transition is then also a body story, a story of learning to trust embodied experience more and to follow its lead. I hope that what I can offer by sharing my account works according to the paradox that it is personal stories that often speak most effectively to broader human experiences. The more personal, the more universal. This is not because I see my experience as representative or expect its details to be widely recognizable. It is because when I speak from what I know, you can take this and hold it up next to your own unfolding experience of academic work and identity to see what gets illuminated.